Salutations, gamers. Welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Mike, joined by my co-hosts here, as always, Ray and Josh.
Hello.
What's good?
Hello, fellow tarnished. How fare thee?
Oh, we're just opening up with Elden Ring because we can do that.
Is it okay? Real quick, is it your thing
Thine
now to
Maidenless?
just to talk in the middle of the intros and outros, just cause?
Yes.
Is that your shtick? Is that your shtick now?
Yes, exactly. The ones I do are always like I have no respect for the program introduction.
The program.
I have no respect for the program
No respect.
introduction. Little treat for the video folks, little treat,
All right, we gotta get this out of the way. We gotta.
That's
get
right.
the
We
game
need
of
to
the
talk
year.
about the game everybody been playing. The Witch Queen, Destiny 2's latest expansion. Hey, it's really good. I've obviously been playing quite a bit of it.
I have been playing less a bit of it, but also very much want to any opportunity that I have. I'm like, okay, I can get back into this and do a little. I'm so into it. I did play about an hour of Destiny by myself.
All right.
Just to experience more of the campaign. So
yeah,
it's pretty good, eh?
Yeah, Ray is still mad that we'll get there, Ray. Don't worry.
I know we will. We have to.
We must. Yeah, as the designated Destiny correspondent, I think it's fair to say,
boots on the ground.
In my opinion, that this is I think it's pretty clear this is Destiny's best campaign, period. In that there has never been a better marrying of story into an actual functional first person shooter campaign. I think this is it feels more like a campaign for a Doom game sometimes than it does for a previous Destiny campaign.
Yeah, and
I think that's how good it is.
And obviously I'm still early on, but even in the few hours that I've gotten into it, it does better than anything in the last year or two from my earlier complaints about Destiny and the Destiny content that came out after initial launch, is that this just feels so consequential. There is a lot of stuff that is happening that feels like it has actual impact on the world and is moving the ball on certain things. There was so much of those early expansions where it just felt like they were vamping, and it was, you're doing this stuff, and it had no real weight on what was going on, and you saw these spooky things in the background at the end of the game, but there was no moving towards that and moving the chains down the field kind of situation. But this is okay,
yes,
we are making money moves, and we are advancing the story. We are
Big Bear doing things.
Yeah, we are fundamentally changing the entire world and the way you see it and what you understand about it.
Yes.
So yeah, I have very much enjoyed it. I think even more than anything, this feels like Big D Destiny 3, but just the expansion of Destiny.
Yeah, so the campaign, I think, definitely delivers on that. I think there's some juicy little plot twists here and there that I think are kind of play into definitely what you're talking about, that I'll preserve the sanctity of, out of respect. And then definitely
Mike, just tell me, is my hunch right?
It's the same hunch I had. I'm like, I have a hunch, and it's 1,000% correct, but the way it plays out is very good.
Yeah,
and I think you'll enjoy it. It's really cool. But there's plenty of other little secrets and stuff too. But that raid's pretty good too. And just like you were saying, Josh, where it kind of feels like we are really cashing in some checks here because the raid is inside one of those pyramid ships that have been like the cornerstone of Destiny teasing from 2017 at the very end of the Destiny 2 vanilla campaign.
Yeah.
You are inside of one of those now. And there's a whole like built out aesthetic. I'm not going to nerd on this too much because I could nerd about this. It's bad, it's real bad. A friend of the pod and I have been nerding about it, and it's like when you get inside there, there's like a very specific thing happening with the way it all looks that fits into like the philosophy of darkness of like, anything that is not strong enough to live deserved to die, and therefore it was good it happened. And then there's like a kind of twist on that explains like why the pyramids look like a insert thing here. And you're like, oh, it's like, so there's a really good like thought out like design to it that isn't like it's like it's an aesthetic that is very, it's like it feels very alien in Destiny, and that's really hard to do in like fantastical fantasy sci-fi shooter. So it's like it feels alien and scary, but it's not like gross or like horrifying on its surface. So it's like a really just a really cool like visual treat. And then you've seen the footage of like the boss fight and stuff, and everyone was worried this was like, oh, it's gonna be a scorn boss. This is gonna be a scorn boss. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be a scorn. That ain't no scorn boss. I'm just gonna say that.
Yep. Well, I think, and obviously I'll learn a little bit more personally, but I think you can attest to this. Like, the themes and whatnot that they are toying with throughout even just the lead up to the Witch Queen, let alone in the early parts and as the campaign progresses, like it's not just like, oh, strictly good versus evil, like with a little bit of intrigue. Like there is so much gray and like playing both sides, and obviously that kind of started with you getting the darkness and whatnot, but just I really appreciate that there seems to be no strict like good guys, bad guys, and they're really tugging that really moral line there.
It's really messy in a really fun way because the chief antagonist of like the raid is someone who's very much aligned with like capital D darkness, and who had big time beef with Savathun, who is the antagonist of the campaign. But it's like, well, I'm not friends with Savathun. She's bad, but also they're bad.
So it's like it's my friend.
So it's like it's like that tension is there because like, well, if the X, then Y.
Yeah.
But you're like, but Y has been bad this whole time. So like, what does that mean? And it's also the kind of thing that's like, that if that is like, maybe this is the groundwork to some sort of larger build on that. So final thing is before we got to talk about the other really cool game that has been sweeping the nation. I'm gonna be honest, I totally forgot what I was gonna say. Last thing. This is another very technical, like Destiny thing, so I apologize. So, the way stasis subclass, the way the stasis works, is like on a whole new like subclass system. And this year, instead of making a new subclass, which is going to be happening eventually, they're actually reworking all of the kind of base subclasses, which is like something I was like, oh, that'll be kind of cool. But I've been really blown away with like how they've implemented that systems and like revamped a class that I didn't really use that much. Like Void feels entirely different. It's really cool. And so I was like, okay, that'll be fine. But that was much more of like a humongous change to how I play the game, and I was totally blown away with how much I've enjoyed it. So it's just really exciting to know that they just absolutely crushed that part of it, and I'm excited that those reworks are going to be coming to like the other two kind of Arc and Solar subclasses too. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely Destiny 2's. I don't know. There's probably some people who'd be like, "Well, what about Forsaken?" To them, I say, "Shut up, nerd. I'm right. This is Destiny 2's best expansion. Period. That's it. All done."
I actually want to hear what Mike sounds like when he stumbles across a bad expansion of Destiny 2. Because
just
You should probably go find some unscripted gaming episodes from 2018.
Let's talk about Curse of Osiris.
Let's talk about the Curse of Osiris.
I mean, that one was bad. I'm not going to defend Warmind either. I'm just curious
Warmind
what
also
that
bad.
sounds like.
Still probably big time Destiny defender. You know,
at least Warmind had like an interesting character.
Warmind had Sleeper Simulant, which is all it really needs.
Warmind, it had a very dumb way to get it too, and I followed that dumb way. So
Yeah, now you can just buy it. Great.
Hey, you know, Alex.
The important thing is, Sleeper Simulant still cracked, still very good at what it does.
Yeah.
Wicked boss damage.
It should have.
Speaking of
been bad.
No.
Speaking
but
of
it's
wicked
back, baby.
boss damage.
Speaking of bosses and games that have them, Ray.
How do we talk about
Little tarnished, man. You're so fucked up.
Everyone,
you fucked up little man.
How do you talk about everyone that's maidenless, and all of a sudden you get one maiden?
You maidenless little man. Oh, you're so fucked up, but things are so bad.
Oh, tarnished.
Oh, tarnished. Man, I love From Software games. That tweet cracked me up. Speaking of From Software tweets, but
let's start. There's a game,
Elden Ring,
that has its main story written by George R.R. Martin, and there's George R.R. Martin all over the game. Like, he has made his mark on the game. For example, and I'm just getting this out of the way, all the mainline bosses that you have to kill to progress the story have either a G or an R or an M in their first name for George R.R. Martin. You get it? It's actually kind of obnoxious. It gets a little confusing. Like, there's Margit, Morgoth, Morg, and Morag.
liar ahead.
People. There's Godwin, Godfrey,
liar ahead.
Fire ahead.
Liar ahead.
Oh, liar ahead. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's get this out of the way first. Every time FromSoft releases a game, the discourse online for like weeks on end are, should there be easy modes in games? And I told Mike I was going to make this pretty like low tier take, and it is a low tier take I'm about to make, but it's also true. So, you listen to it whether or not. Should there be an easy mode in games? No. Should there be accessibility in games? Yes. And good news, Elden Ring has a ton of accessibilities. You could fully remap your buttons. You could play with a friend pretty much from jump. Like, if you're struggling, you could just dial a friend at any given time. If you're struggling with a friend, the game very early gives you summons in the game that you can use to tank some bosses or to do some damage. You can't use them everywhere, but you can use them in what's explicitly the difficult areas. But for people saying, should bosses just be easier to kill? Should I be able to kill the boss in a couple different hits? Here's another accessibility thing I will answer to that question. It is an RPG. You can take as long as you need to go hit grind enemies and get as many, they don't call them souls, they call them runes. You can build up your health bar, your strength, and if you want to, you can start smacking bosses in a couple hits by yourself, but you will have earned that by yourself, and they didn't have to do anything to make the game any... Okay, I'm beating around the bush. Should there be a mode in FromSoft games where you select it and the bosses don't have any attack patterns, or they have extremely recognizable ones, and it only takes a couple different hits, and you're on God mode, and you can't die? No. I'm sorry, no. That doesn't have to be that in the game. It doesn't have to exist. Elden Ring is like literally the easiest FromSoft game. No, hear me out. Not Dark Souls, not Souls-like. The easiest FromSoft game. Because remember, they made the Armored Core series.
I don't know.
None of those games
Those
are easy.
Otogi games are pretty easy though. They're pretty
ones?
good. Otogi. They should make an Otogi 3. I would.
I don't think not even those would be. Imagine if Otogi
Oh,
came
come
out
on.
nowadays, people would say no. That needs an easy mode.
No,
Absolutely.
it doesn't. That game is not that hard.
I feel I don't know. I mean, I put, it's been a long time since I played an Armored Core game, but I don't remember being like so bashing my head against the wall, frustrating that I was like, "Fuck this," and walked away from it.
What game did you do that with, like with Dark Souls?
I mean,
Like what
mostly I just got bored because I was like, I don't have the time for this. Dark Souls 1, maybe? I don't know. There were a couple times, and I think we were talking about this the other day, well, not on the podcast, of like, hey, when you die at a boss, and then you have to go all the way back and run from, 18 miles away and go through everything you did before to get back to the boss.
The run.
Yep.
Booking it, as some people like to call it.
I did that a couple times in Dark Souls, and I just said, fuck that.
I'm glad you brought that up because after I beat Elden Ring, I went back and I played Demon Souls, and Demon Souls still has the booking it thing, where you're like, oh no, I died to this boss. Wait a minute, and then some small little skeleton kills you on your way to go fight the boss, and you get pissed because all your souls are gone. No, Elden Ring fixes this. There are checkpoints outside every single boss door, even the last boss. And that's another accessibility thing. So yes, again, FromSoft games, make them accessible, but don't make them easier because there's nothing to be gained. I can tell you, I cheesed Elden Ring. I picked up a sword. It's called the Sword of Night and Flame. It got nerfed. It got a 50% nerf after the game came out 2 weeks ago.
Buddy.
Oh, and it needed it because I went through the last 4 bosses of that entire game and never died. It's a sword that shoots lasers, so every time I see the boss, dodge out of the way. Blah.
So the Master Sword.
It's basically the Master Sword.
A sword that shoots lasers, huh?
You also get a horse in Elden Ring that lets you double jump. I'm sorry, this game doesn't need an easy mode.
That's why Elden Ring is actually going to be the game of the year, because the horse can double jump.
Okay.
You don't have to hit a button to go on it.
I was convinced I would never play this game. but I might have to get this just for double jumping horse. That's
horse can double jump. It's great.
Jump.
You can whack guys on horseback with your sword and then double jump to run away from them.
Okay, I have to ask, do they try and justify it at all, or is it just like, bro,
no,
this horse
he
can
double jump. It's a magic horse. What do you mean?
You have a magical ghost horse that, he could just double jump. His name is Torin. He's great.
Yeah, he's great. Love him.
Also,
you can give him treats.
You can give him treats to restore his health too, because he does have.
Because if you read Torin to battle, boss is gonna be like, okay.
Brat.
Yeah.
Oh, did you? I don't know if you encountered it or not, but the game has a lot of different things that it does to teach you about how Elden Ring works. When you get out of the tutorial dungeon, which is really good, it's really well paced. It has great pop-ups that tell you all the little mechanics. There's a shield block mechanic where if you block an enemy with an attack, you get a counter automatically, and it does double damage. That's really cool. That's new to the Dark Souls series. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, if you block and you hear the ting on your shield, hit the attack button, and you immediately counterattack for double damage.
Oh.
It's called a shield riposte. Yeah, I did that for like most of half of the game.
Interesting.
Until
do you have to like parry it, or just like tank?
It's you don't even have to parry. You just block.
Wow, interesting.
They made shields better.
Okay, well that changes a lot, because that's why I don't use a shield, because I'm like, well, shields suck, so I'm just gonna two-hand this bad boy, and we're just gonna do it that.
Shields so good. There's a shield.
Wow.
Erdtree Great Shield, where if you take magic damage with the shield, you blast it back as a bolt of energy to whoever just attacked you. and that shit was broken, and it also got a nerf, because it needed
Wow.
it. What people were doing is there's a spell that sets yourself on fire. You know, it makes you hard to hit, but it does damage to yourself. But if you have the shield equipped,
That's the most Souls thing ever. It's like you set yourself on fire, you
well,
take damage. That's so funny. It's like,
I'm
well,
trying
yeah.
to think
What do
of,
you think is gonna happen?
and there's a weird. The entire game of Elden Ring lets you explore the entire map, and it doesn't stop you. Like you could go from one end of the map to the other if you know how to do it, and that's what speedrunners do. And the speedrun world record right now is 20 minutes. Last time I checked.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah. No, there's a
that's
couple
insane.
glitches
That's
in
so
there.
cool. Yeah, well, yeah, but that's fun.
There's also some broken skills you can get for without attacking anyone. If you are having trouble with a boss, there is a skill you could get called the Hoarfrost Stomp. And what that is it uses magic, which is fine because the game wants you to use magic. Magic is broken. FromSoft has the game tuned up to use it. When you stomp on the ground, it casts a wide, how many degrees is it? It's like 120-degree arc of ice onto the ground. Come here, come here. I want to tell you guys something. All the bosses are weak to frost damage. So and frost damage stacks, and they brought the frostbite mechanic back from Dark Souls 3. So if your character or an enemy gets afflicted with frostbite, they get less stamina, they take more damage, and any other frost damage that you do to them stacks on top of that frost damage. So that's what speedrunners are doing. They're just stomping on the ground, causing icicles to burst up, and the boss is like, "Oh, oh my life!"
That's
It's
so funny.
it's great looking, and you don't have to attack anything to get that. These are like certain things that you could do in the game to make it easier for yourself. Or you could go like me in the first half of the game, and you could wield two great swords like your guts from Berserk, and he found two great swords, and just start jumping and slamming your sword on everyone. And much like in Sekiro, another FromSoft title, every enemy in the game, even the final boss, has a posture meter. If you break their
I
posture,
do big posture. That's what I do. Is like I'm just gonna now. I know you can take the stab, and you might be able to tank my little somersault jump attack. You can't tank both, and I'm gonna break your poise, and then I'm gonna stab you, and then I'm done. And I have enough stamina to just light attack you to death if you somehow survive all of that. So it works for me most of the time.
it feels so good that you're like loaded with so many different options to approach the game. It's actually has more freedom than even in a game like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's really kind of fucked up that they just like, what if we made an open like a big open Dark Souls, and then filled it with like I've been on and off playing Ghost of Tsushima, and I just this game is everything. Elden Ring is everything I wish Ghost of Tsushima was.
I can see that. You can play
Because
Samurai.
that game and like I think what I probably talked about when it came out, like Horizon Zero Dawn, are like the things I despise, the things I am like least interested in as far as like open world kind of games.
Yeah.
Like the side quests in Elden Ring are like some guy like mumbling something weird, and you have to talk to him like 5 times before he actually changes his like. It just feels like there's like mystery in this like living, breathing place that is just very cool, and it just like, you know, I want to go explore it, and like, and I just have zero drive to do that in those other games. Like one thing, like really cool mystery, at least I think right now, is I fought a boss that was in like one. There's like your big dungeons with like your big like capital B bosses.
Yeah.
But then there's like little mini side dungeons with like little bosses that might just be like regular enemies basically. But with like more health. And I fought one, and it was like a big poison plant, and it had shoot poison, it had slam, It had a second slam, and then its other attack that it had was fucking shoot like laser beams from heaven itself, and you're like, fucking
Hell
what the
yeah.
fuck can this tree do? It's just not explained because it's like, I shoot poison, I'm gonna slam you with my leaf. And then it's like, all right, here we go. Here comes the death laser. And it's like the sky opens up. It's like, pew, pew, pew. You're just like, oh, I was just trying to fight a poison plant. What the fuck is this? That's the other thing is Elden Ring is a comedy game.
Oh, it's
secretly the funniest. It's absolutely the funniest game of the year because the other thing about all these Souls games is that there's like players can leave messages for each other in like in templates. Like you can't type in your own thing. You have to like pick from their list of like be wary of blank ahead. Like beware, like look to east, kind of things like that. And people like construct their own kind of message, like meaning from that. And sometimes it's jokes that are pretty dumb, and sometimes they're pretty funny. Like people love to put try jumping in front of a very obvious cliff. Yes. And then someone out there is like, I'm gonna try jumping. And then they fall off the cliff and you're like, oh, that was a joke.
Yeah.
But I think they absolutely fucking know what they're doing now with these things. Like it is so fucking funny. Like one time I was doing a dungeon and I saw multiple messages that are like, be wary of left. Like trap, like ambush ahead, left. And I'm like, okay, so there's clearly going to be an ambush on the left side. So I walk into the room and I immediately spin the camera to the left.
Yeah.
And I look there. I'm like, okay, there's nothing there.
It's coming from the right.
I give it another second. There's nothing there. And I'm like, okay, those people must have been fucking with me. The literal second you turn around, this nasty little freak comes up and is like, and like hits you for like half your health, and then you start bleeding, and then like another one comes around the corner. It's like they absolutely timed out exactly how long you thought it would be before that thing happened, and added like 0.8 seconds to when that enemy was actually going to aggro and attack you. And they do fucking constantly, and it's funny every time. It just cracks me up because I'm like, this message had 50 appraisals, so I know it's true. But you're just sitting there and you're like, come out.
You know,
and then you turn around and it fucking gets you every time.
The ones that tell you that you gotta be careful. The ones that tell you to jump off a cliff have a ton of appraisals too, because it's just a bunch of people saying, "Got me." Here's your thumbs up. There's a new noob trap that Elden Ring introduced that caught me. I've played a lot of Dark Souls and Souls-like game, and when this one caught me, I was like, "Oh no!"
Did you try two-handing?
I did not try two-handing.
Okay.
I'm always trying two-handing.
That's right.
There is a treasure chest in a specific early game place.
Oh god damn it! I was so mad. I hit every single treasure chest with my sword too.
Was it a mimic?
Okay, I'm gonna spoil this for you. No mimic treasure chests in this game. There's something worse.
I don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me, but there's no mimic treasure chest in this game. They put in something far worse, sir. And Mike, I think it happened to Mike.
It did, yes.
It happened to me. You open the treasure chest. It's a very early game place, and there's a warning there. To be fair, there was a player warning that said, like, watch out. And I'm like, whatever. It's a fucking treasure chest. You hit it with your sword. Ha! Not a mimic. Suck-ass suckers. You open up the chest. A poof of smoke comes out, and your player is transported to an area of the map you have no business being.
Absolutely. It is fuck off scary over there. And I'm just like, oh god damn it. I was so mad.
Normally at any point the game lets you do teleporting, and again, accessibility options. The game
and you don't lose your souls.
You can teleport to anywhere, any place you've already unlocked.
Amazing. It's so good.
But when you get trapped by a treasure chest, it turns that shit off, and it says, "Nope, go find your way out." And I was like stuck in the crystal cave, and when you die, because you will die, it spawns you back to where the trap started, and you're still like, it spawned me in a house in the cave. I died because there's a bunch of centipede warriors that shoot their spines out, and they home in on you, and it insta-killed me. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Where am I? Why does my teleport not work? And so when I died, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I'll go back to whatever area. I was just, nope, right back inside that house in the mine. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. Where am I?
Again, it really is like, there's a comedic timing to this game. Like, they absolutely know what they're doing. Like, it is very, because I was outside this one boss area in like this castle where there's a lot of, prime nasty little guys in Elden Ring.
Yes.
Prime nasty little guy game. Love
nasty.
it. Just little freaks running around everywhere. It's great. And I was just kind of poking around this area, and I saw a beach with like some little crabs on it. I'm like, I'm gonna fight these crabs. Haha, these guys suck. I can fight these crabs. You kill one crab, maybe two, and then a fuck off massive crab just like crawls out of the sand.
Out of the sand. It says,
you're like, whoa.
What? And then they hurt.
So
they hurt so much, and they're fast. You don't think they're gonna be fast? They're fuck off.
And he does not give up either.
No, he doesn't.
He's so mad. He's like, you've been fighting my little brother, huh? All right, how about you pinch on someone your own size, buddy?
Josh is like, it's a crab the size of a house. I'm not even kidding. Just crawls out of the damn.
See,
you're fighting
I prefer video games where I just fight an actual house.
Good point. It's just like, it's basically Jackass sometimes. Like, it just turns into, it's so funny.
Have you fought the giant fuck-off lobsters, which are bigger than the crabs?
No, I haven't.
Well, the lobster has a grab attack, because of course it does, where it grabs you with its claw.
You can't imagine making a lobster boss that doesn't have a grab attack. Come on. That's like day one of game dev.
It's got like a very sharp end to its claw, and it just starts stabbing you on the end. With its other claw, and then it slams you down. It's like someone modeled that. Someone got paid good money to make a crab just like eviscerate you.
Even with some of the bosses, yeah, this is less of like a haha funny, but more like there's like a meta knowledge of like some of the like Margit, he when he like swings and attacks, or like swings, he holds on to that swing for a really long time. So normally you get used to like I see the attack, I'm gonna dodge, haha.
Mm-hmm.
But then you dodge and he hasn't attacked yet, and you're like, haha, and he still hasn't attacked yet. And you're like, ha, poof, and he hits you here like 3/4 of your health right there. Like, you have enough time to roll like 2.75 times, and then he just absolutely smashes the shit out of you, and it's just like, it's so funny. I've not beaten this game yet. I am still, because I've been playing so much Destiny, but I'm so excited to kind of really dig into all the rest of it, and I guess kind of to move into maybe more of like a news section, I guess, because we've been doing a lot of game talking. If that sounds good to you, gents.
Yeah, totally.
If I'm not mistaken here, I've got some old headlines, but at least kind of like in fun game news before we get to like, things like lawsuits, all the other, the meat and, the vegetables. Oh, we forgot to talk about the types of Souls bosses though. Never mind, that's not that important.
No. I want to hear this. I remembered only just like the
okay.
House tricks,
so
Bumpos house tricks.
This is from Twitter user C. Kunzelman. who noted the types of Souls bosses in a game. Ray, I'd just like you to give me a yes or no.
Okay.
For if this boss is in a game. I can speak to this first one. Absolutely yes. Guy in a room totally freaking out. Absolutely in Elden Ring. I fought it over the weekend.
Guy absolutely just freaking yes, yeah. There's a bunch of optional bosses that do that. Yep.
A stomp jumperson.
Oh yeah. You will know when you meet the Stomp Jumpers.
Okay.
You will know.
The gang is back together and they hate you.
Fuck. No, that's a. You know what? Hold on. Back up. That's actually an issue with Elden Ring. This game is not built with multiple bosses in mind because they just the amount of recovery frames you have does not account for when they're just all wailing on you and doing bleed damage and just getting damaged over time. Yes, to answer your question.
Not even Ornstein and Smo did bleed damage.
No, they did not.
I will defend that as I think one of the best Darks. I think that's one of the best Souls bosses. Period. Like it's so iconic. Like
it is very iconic. I won't join you on that train that says they're good though, because I was stuck on them for 5 hours and I'm still a little bit hurt by them.
And it's a classic big one, little one. You know, it's not like two guys are the same size. Like that sucks. There's like one's big and one's little. It's like there's dynamism, tension.
There is.
That's
there's
great.
A very fast one. And
big one, little one. All-time pairing. Love it. DeVito and Schwarzenegger, you know? Next one. Bumpo's Palace of Tricks.
Yes.
That makes me I'm so excited. I can't wait to find out what the Elden Ring Palace of Tricks is going to be. There should be more Palace of Tricks, just like in general. You know, it's kind of like how you thought when you were a kid that you were going to encounter like quicksand more often. There should just be more palaces of tricks, just like that you just encounter on a daily basis.
You say that until you get to the place where that is, and you're like, "Hey, this is annoying, actually."
Yeah. I mean, on Sunday. I was literally saying that like, I think America would be a better place if we had better access to like saloons wherein people at a regular basis could like enter like lighthearted brawls where people would tumble out of the front door on like an hourly basis. And to be clear, the piano music never stops in these establishments. I kind of thought that would be something that would just kind of let people let some steam off, and then someone got slapped at the Oscars. So, maybe I promise I will be more kind with the lathe. I'll be more careful with the lathe of heaven in the future. Last Souls boss, you interrupted my dinner / morning, and now you gotta die.
Yes. Yeah, that happens once at least. I want to be clear. I may have beaten Elden Ring, but I probably got to the point where I'm like, okay, I just want to see the ending of this game. And there's 1 or 2 entire areas I didn't go to because the game just lets you do that.
I'm gonna ask a question because I hope I don't have to actually go here.
Okay.
I ended up here by going into a portal, and then all of a sudden I got sent here. It was like a little cement circle thing. It's a place where it's very scary. There's nasty little guys who you kill, and they give you about 1,000 souls each, which is like kind of scary. It's like red everywhere. It's raining and bad, and I don't like it. Is that area mandatory?
Wait, is the sky red?
Yes.
Yes, you have to go there.
Oh no. Okay.
That's actually some of the best part of the lore as well. When you start reading like the weapons and reading the lore of the area of what makes it red and awful and why everything hurts and oh my gosh, is that a dog or is that a dinosaur? Get close to it and find out.
No. I honestly need to dig more into like the story because I got really into like the Dark Souls story. I haven't really gotten like interacted too much with the Elden Ring like a plot, so to speak, like and all the lore surrounding it. So I really need to do that.
If you keep going to the round table, that's your hub area.
Yes.
And you keep talking to it's something the All-Knowing. Godfrey the Old Knowing. He gives you a lot of lore, and a lot of that lore is really good. He especially like does a lore dump into why you're fighting bosses.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, but yes. As for the actual news, there was a story that I sent earlier. I wanted to cover this. Josh had to step away real quick. Um, EA is not gonna have EA Play at E3 this year, which is the first time in, I believe, since they started doing it, where they said we're not doing an EA Play because
So, if the events, E3 is super dead when the events that were designed to kill E3 basically have also stopped because they have fulfilled their function.
Yeah. What is E3 anymore? Really, what is it anymore?
An outdated trade show.
It is. We don't need that sort of trade show anymore. I think 2+ years of the pandemic has told us that, hey, maybe we all don't need to go gather around in a small enclosed space in one of the most expensive parts of not only the United States but the world and just watch video games. Why can't we just do it online? And it's so much cheaper. And hey, tell you what, none of us are getting gameplay demos of the game. Either you give us the gameplay demo online, or we'll just wait until the game comes out. It's cool. It's fine. I know a lot of people want to go there for like gaming magazines and whatnot, or online magazines. But again, after the past 2 years, I think everyone has collectively figured out, oh, here's how you do it if you want that to happen. You actually don't need a middleman or in between trade show to make that happen. So we can move on from it. It's sad because ever since I was a little kid, E3 has always been the big game show that I always wanted to go to. I've been to it once, and it was like any other game show I've been to, except a little bit bigger. And the Nintendo booth is kind of fun, but that's it.
Yeah.
Go to PAX. PAX is fun. PAX is also nowhere near as expensive or in near as expensive areas, but you're getting the exact same experience. If I was to give any opinion I have about that.
Fair enough.
And there was sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just I was going to see if you had any more thoughts on this as a news story before I suggested a couple other stories.
Go ahead.
Well, just one last thing on Elden Ring. Elden Ring's also been doing gangbusters.
Oh shit, I forgot to cover that.
It's apparently, according to GameIndustry.biz, it's .biz, so it means they can't lie. It's illegal.
I don't think. Okay,
Elden Ring is the biggest non-FIFA or Call of Duty launch since Red Dead Redemption 2. So it is really crazy to me that, like, these, because I remember I played a lot of Dark Souls when it was pretty early out on PC, like 2014, and it's crazy to me. That was even before like it had kind of blown up from its like initial niche as like 360 games.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that like a Souls like From Software game is anywhere even close to like the numbers it's doing. Like there's a pretty good chance that over time Elden Ring will completely outsell the entirety of the Dark Souls series. Like in a long enough length of time. So I'm pretty sure I saw that Dark Souls games total sold about 27 million. Let's just see where Elden Ring is at right now in terms of those numbers.
I saw Elden Ring was at like 13 million and it's been out for a month or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's at least 12.
Jeez.
Yeah, 1 million. Yeah, 12. At least 12 million worldwide. So that's basically like a month.
Days ago, to you guys, we're like Elden Ring. Maybe I didn't say it to you guys, but either way, Elden Ring needed to sell like after marketing, after development, after all of it. It needed to sell 4 million copies. They were expecting to make a profit, to not only break even, make a profit. Selling 12 million though? Again, why should they? This goes back to what I was talking about before. If they made a game with a vision in mind and it works, and well over 12 million people bought it, and it's getting rave reviews, like 9s and 10s, some calling it one of the most perfect video games ever made. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty damn good. I
You
actually,
know,
I like it better
yeah.
than Breath of the Wild. That's a high bar, and I
Wow.
don't take it back because this
Yeah.
game rewards me for the weapons I find. Breath of the Wild says, "Here's this really cool, badass-looking fire sword, and don't use it too many times, because if you do, it'll explode in your hand." I just
Yeah.
want to keep the fire sword.
It's I don't know if I'm curious to see if it will beat that for me. Um but it's really good. And it's like crazy to me that it's Elden Ring is selling these kinds of numbers. I mean, I just want to say I will not. I don't. I guess I don't really want to say anything. I mean, I guess as a point of comparison, let's just say it's really easy to find the sales numbers for Elden Ring, and much more difficult to find the sales numbers for Horizon Forbidden West,
That
which is
makes me
interesting.
sad. I actually know some people that worked in that studio and on that game, and again, Horizon, that series releases like a week or 2 weeks before one of the best games ever made, and it's a direct competitor game.
Hmm.
Like, if you, I would. This is not to say to the quality of Horizon Forbidden West at all, because I haven't played that game. But I would much rather do a new game plus right now of playing Elden Ring than buying a brand new copy of Horizon Forbidden West,
Yeah.
because it's that fun. There's so many different build options. I already got like some of the more broken weapons because I happened to stumble upon them. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't stumble upon the Darkmoon Greatsword. That's the quest I had to do to get that big cape flowing thing I was telling
Hmm.
you about. Yes, you have to do the Darkmoon Greatsword.
I love it. I love a lunar great sword.
Oh, it's so good. It shoots beams out now.
Iconic. Love it.
Oh, it shoots lasers, and it's intellect based as well, and strength based. But okay. Some of the best weapons in Elden Ring are based on intellect stat building. And
Oh,
no, there's a
groan.
reason why FromSoft did that,
Don't
and
make me
it's
do magic.
genius.
No.
Yes, they're trying to
No.
say like you're already right there. Why don't you try some of this magic out? And you're like, all right, fine, I'll try out this spell. And you're like, wait a minute, that was kind of hot. Maybe I'll start doing some magic builds. They're teasing you because some of the best weapons in the game require that intellect stat scaling. So might as well. And I ended up. I thought I would beat the game using a berserker build where I just whip two great swords around and I'm jumping and swinging and breaking posture all over the place. By the end of the game, I was slinging magic everywhere. I got spells. I got the mimic tier so that I'm casting two different versions of me are casting spells at the bosses, and it was fun. It felt great. So yes, to your point, Elden Ring is great. I'm glad it's doing so well. Uh,
Hmm.
I I hope I hope if there's a sequel to the game, uh, that it's just this exact type of quality but a different story. Maybe with a couple different like quality of life improvements. Oh, by the way, all the merchants in Elden Ring, they have a backstory to them. If you there's a backstory to them. If you kill one of them, you'll discover what it is really quick. Also, don't do that because you're kind of a monster if you
No.
kill one.
That's it. No, don't do that. Don't kill NPCs unless you really, really, really
Okay.
you know. I um
There was another story I wanted to talk about, gaming related. This one, this one was about the NFT thing. The article that Kotaku had posted, where this Pokemon style game. Oh, what is it? Hold on, I'm gonna actually look it up real quick. And there we go. It's is it? No, this is a completely different game. Oh my gosh, it happened in 2 different games. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, anyways, Pokemon like NFT game Axie Infinity. Their servers weren't up to snuff. They got their servers got hacked and they lost $600 million. So I don't know if the
Oof.
project is going to keep living after a while. I don't know how the company bounces back. Also, can we talk about the fact that a video game that is a Pokemon like has a game I've never even heard of has $500 million. Anyone that says that like this isn't money laundering is fucking fooling themselves. That like get over yourself. This is absolutely money laundering. It doesn't take half a. I can name on one hand how many games actually took $500 million to make. It was like Destiny, Red Dead
Mm-hmm.
Redemption 2, Star Citizen if it ever comes out, and these are accounting for like marketing budgets, not just the game being developed. And it looks like shit. I wish we had the video version of this game out. Okay, I'm gonna send you guys an image into the Discord chat. Do not tell me this game took $500 million to make. This is absolutely a money laundering scheme.
Oh my god, yeah. Perfect. I love it. I love a good scheme.
This is a lie. This is such a sham. Okay, I'm sorry. NFTs and gaming need to die. All right, those are the 2 stories I wanted to bring up. Mike, you had another story.
Yeah. If I decided that this podcast could use a little bit more controversy and
Oh,
shit
okay.
stirring. So,
Okay.
Ray, how do you feel about a race of non-human people
Oh, shit.
rebelling against a largely human order?
This is the Harry Potter game, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh fuck. There's
How would you
nothing
feel
good.
about putting that down? Being the well, okay, there's probably a plot twist in there because they're actually good the whole time. There
Okay,
are some good ones, I bet.
didn't know we were. Oh no, you didn't just say that.
I didn't say that.
There's nothing good I can say about one, J.K. Rowling, and two, the Harry Potter series as of late.
Just,
Because the deeper and deeper you dig into like the underlying tones of the Harry Potter series, the more and more, especially as an adult, the
you
more
gotta
and more you
look
start
up,
asking questions.
Ray. You gotta look up what the name of that one black wizard is named.
Oh, it's Shackle something. It's fucked up.
It's like, come on. But yeah, there's a Harry Potter game. Well, okay, correction. It's a Hogwarts game. Where you do wizard
The
stuff.
Wizarding World.
Wizard. It's just thank you. That's the correct term. Thank you.
I have to stop you real quick. Kingsley Shacklebolt. Can we take a second? Just
It's so bad, man. It's so.
But he has King in the first name.
Stop it! It's because she was thinking of Martin Luther King when she came up with his name. It's so obvious. Why Shacklebolt? Why is that the only black one and his last name is Shacklebolt? There's something wrong with that woman. There is hate in her heart.
It's just I keep an open mind. I want to be a fair and neutral observer. I just want to know, hey, why do all the goblins work at the bank, and why do you describe their noses like that? Just I just have questions.
Have you read J.K. Rowling? She put it on Pottermore. A lot of this is deleted, but the Wayback Machine doesn't lie. She wrote a whole article defending house goblins or not
House
goblins.
elves.
House elves. She wrote a whole article defending enslavement of why house elves like being slaves and to free them is problematic. because they
Nice.
would not like being free. It was like, oh my god, what is going on? These are kids' books.
Well, Ray, it's okay because Dobby got free, so it's fine until Dobby got murked, so it's cool.
I bet.
Ray, Ray, the solution to this is to obviously partition land from existing states to create a state for the house elves to live in house elf, in the prophesized home of the house elves.
Is it going to be called House Siberia? House Elfberia? Is that what's going on here?
It'll be called
Gobla Royale.
called the State of Israel.
That's bad. Also, the entire
Guyon.
premise of the Hogwarts wizarding book. Did you call it Guyon? No, you didn't.
I'm dead.
That's
also,
awful.
we're dead.
Rip.
So yeah, this is happening. Just, I don't know. I think all the battle lines have been drawn about things about like this, and what monetarily will benefit J.K. Rowling and what she stands for. So, things pretty clear to me. But I just think any discussion about this game, this is a very much like we've kind of had this discussion for about like what can I still read Ender's Game? Sure, but fine, what things like that. But like, I think it's irresponsible to like. This is not to turn this into a games journalism hobby horse thing, but like, I think at this point I think she's had. It is clear that she's not. She has chosen her side and on these things, and is not a very like.
She's had every opportunity to even pretend to change her opinion and tone and mind. Like,
right.
She can't even manage faking it.
Right, exactly. It's like, this is pretty crystal clear.
Why should she fake what she truly believes in? Very clearly. Yeah.
And it's just, I think it's irresponsible to like, I'm looking at the IGN article where, the big spread here. It's like Hogwarts Legacy gameplay and plot details revealed. Here's the trailer. Here's your poll about which house are you in. Just like,
ew.
I mean, that's just what these, like your sites like IGN, and that's what they do. That's what they're for. I just think, it is a disservice to your readers and irresponsible to, talk about this media property in a way, while she is still the driver of it.
Yeah.
Without, being realistic about her, consistent and continuous bigotry, particularly towards trans people who, have enough going on and don't need to be harangued by a foul British woman. Yes, me.
I'm sorry, a multi-billionaire foul person.
Yeah.
Like, please go away. You've won capitalism. Go to an island and die. We don't want to listen to you anymore.
God, if I was a billionaire, I would never. None of you would ever hear from me again.
Why? And I don't expect
I would vanish. I would be so not annoying because nobody would know I exist. I would just I just can't fathom like.
Imagine being
why would you
angry all the time.
If you're a billionaire, you get to log off. You don't have to post anymore. You're done. You don't have to post anymore. You're Dobby free. Dobby free. Kingsley Shacklebolt free.
Oh no!
Like, you don't have to post anymore. You can just like go buy an island and just live there. Like, what are you doing?
Go to an island and die.
Go to a different, better island than the United Kingdom. I'd like, the Isle of Man, which has a cool flag. It's a cool flag, Ray. Look it up. Got 3 legs on it.
It does have 3 legs.
I love a leggy flag.
I will be doing a disservice if we didn't bring up the very bad naming convention for the East Asian character for J.K. Rowling of Cho Chang.
Better than like
Wh-
ping pong. That's
Which it sounds like, oh come on, that's not that bad. Okay, those are two completely different parts of the world where Cho and Chang come from. So
yeah.
she just threw those together with not a second extra of research.
I don't know. I'm trying to even what. She's probably named some American wizards. I'm trying to think like.
They would be all in like Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Fantastic Beasts and How to Find Them, that story, the American wizards are the FBI wizards, and they're the ones that will murk you.
They're all
if
cops.
Yeah, every single one of them are cops. Because J.K. Rowling thinks that all Americans are cops, which, you know what?
See, this is something people don't know: is that Operation Condor was conducted with actual magic condors, not helicopters.
Go look it up.
I know,
Go ahead.
Pottermore. It's an exciting world.
It is.
Good lord.
Some
Yeah.
of the game developers of this game have said, like, oh, don't worry, J.K. Rowling has not had a lot to do with this project. And it's like, we know you're lying.
Also, she makes money from it.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, that's as pretty simple as, that's all it comes. It doesn't matter if she had nothing to do with this. Makes money from it.
she's absolutely making money from all the sales of it. And like you said, that's something that should be brought to the fore. Like, is this something you're comfortable purchasing? Like, there are some game websites that will dunk on EA and Ubisoft, maybe not as much as they need to, all the time for their work conditions and culture.
Yeah.
If your game is being made and it's explicitly from the mind of a morally bereft human being who is worth more money than all three of us might ever see in our life, and spends their free time attacking marginalized people for no reason, is that something you should support?
I still, like, I know this is not even a video game podcast anymore. I can't fathom having at least $1 billion and still having Twitter on your phone.
But exactly.
Like, if I have $1 billion, I don't want a phone. I'm just gonna pay someone to, like, not even, like, I just don't even want to fucking ever look at a phone ever again. I'm gonna pay someone for me to not even need a phone.
You would just spend that time.
You could log off,
taking care of your family and your
you could go, you could
family
touch
and your
Grace,
family.
you could find a maiden.
You
Finally,
you could stop not putting points in the Maidens.
you could put
Put points in
Stop.
the vigor, endurance,
Yeah.
and Maidens.
That's
That's
right.
how you win the game. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh god.
It blows my mind that this. Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I almost made a transition, but I don't know what you guys talked about while I had to go check on the baby. Did you guys talk about the PlayStation news today?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Well,
I
you know
want
what
you
you
to-
don't need to do when you have $1 billion is pay
What's
monthly
that?
subscriptions for game accesses, because you can buy each game you want individually because you got all the
There you
money
go.
you have.
That's true. I'm
God.
gonna be honest. If I had $1 billion, I don't know if I would play video games out of boredom. I just don't know, because there's
Y'all know I'd still play Destiny.
maybe I might read a lot of books. I might just spend that free
Fuck
time.
books. Books are boring. Video games all day, baby.
I like to think I'd write more, but honestly, for at least a while there, I'd probably just like, oh, now I have enough free time to do the raid on all 3 characters instead of just one.
Oh my
each week.
goodness. Mike with $1 billion just gets better at Destiny.
I don't know about that, but I would have more time to, like, drive myself into a wall of trials, so I can get a new God's Roll Reed's Regret with Vice Stinger, because mine doesn't have it because they changed that. It refills the magazine on hits occasionally, Ray.
That's kind of cool.
That will do if you've got a firing line, rapid hit, Reed's Regret. That's money, baby. That's big damage, boy.
Good lord.
Josh, tell us about the PlayStation.
Anyway, so PlayStation today,
Please God.
this has been rumored now for a little while. Heard some rumblings about this. But Sony has basically announced their answer to Xbox Game Pass and changes to PlayStation Plus.
Mhm.
So PlayStation Plus is basically getting revamped, kind of merged with PlayStation Now, and we'll have 3 different tiers of access. So PlayStation Plus Essential, which is the base level tier, which is essentially the same as PlayStation Plus today. So 2
Yeah.
downloadable games a month, discounts, cloud storage, online multiplayer, whatnot. No change there. $10 a month or $60 for the year. So they have
Yeah.
the
Same
pricing.
pricing too. So
Yeah, same pricing broken out. Get a discount if you paid for the full year up front. Now, where they've made the changes are the 2 tiers above that. So there's the PlayStation Plus Extra. So you get Essentials plus a catalog of what they call 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games. And they're saying it's both first party and from third party vendors. Obviously, with that many titles, you kind
our
of have to get out
scientists
of
have
it.
been working hard in the lab to empirically prove which video game is the most
The most
enjoyable,
Oh my
the
goodness.
most able to be enjoyed.
Yep.
A crisp Bud Light.
Now, they are saying all of these games, well, they don't say all, but the games in the extra tier are downloadable for play. So I don't know if that means all of them or most of them, but it sounds like if you get the PlayStation Plus extra tier, you have access to that title, that library of 400 or so games for download and play online, offline, whatever. So that's $15 a month or $100 for the year. The highest tier, PlayStation Plus Premium, gets you the Essential and the Extra. Then it's giving you 340 additional games, including PS3 games via cloud streaming, and then a catalog of games for streaming and download, so a hybrid from PS1, PS2, and PSP. So it'll offer those with the cloud streaming, where PlayStation Now is kind of already available. So that's kind of the PlayStation Now getting rolled into it. They're also including in that tier time-limited game trials that'll be in that where you can try a game before you buy it. And that tier is $18 a month or $120 for the year.
I guess the first question I have is this line. I'm looking at the PlayStation blog announcement here. Is this line under? I don't know if this jumps out to anybody else, but to me, under the second tier, where it says adds a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Now, the big thing with Game Pass is that, like, when Halo came out, if you have like Xbox or PC Game Pass, boom, you have Halo.
Yes,
do we think that's what's happening there? Because if not, that's gonna be like kind of a big like kind of thing. I think people ought to pick, but I kind of think like if you're asking like $15 a month, like I don't know, that wording is kind of like loosey goosey there. So I wonder if that is what that means.
They say if you read down into like more of the text after the tiers, they mention they're gonna have at launch. They plan to include titles as Death Stranding, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Mortal Kombat 11, and Returnal.
Yeah, that's a good example. So is like God of War Ragnarok day and date. Do you get this if you're on that second tier?
Yeah, and that's a big question. Is do this at the very least, do the Sony Studio games come day one to this PlayStation Plus, whatever tier, at least the 2 tiers, or is there going to be kind of time releasing? Are they able to work with some third party studios to some of the bigger ones, indie ones, to get day one exclusives or at least day one releases,
right?
And some of that parity with Game Pass.
Yeah.
I do
Do you
see
get
too,
Lightfall day and day here?
yeah. I do see they also mentioned that there is a PlayStation Plus Deluxe for areas where the cloud streaming isn't available, which is slightly less than the premium tier. So you'll still get the PS2, PSP, PS1 games, but just not in the cloud service, only via download. So they are making, you know, some sort of concessions to say, hey, there are some areas where the cloud streaming isn't going to work. We will cut you off a couple bucks and make that available there. At first, when I thought about this, I was a little skeptical of the 3 tiers and thinking, you know, $15 should probably be the highest, and there really should be the essentials, which is the 2 games, you know, the regular PlayStation Plus, and then PlayStation Plus Plus or PlayStation Plus Premium, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
The more I thought about it, though, it kind of like makes sense to me in terms of the audience that plays games and the age ranges across the PlayStation audience. Honestly, for younger folks, for the Fortnite generation, for people who have been playing games only for the last decade or so, who, you know, their first console might be a PlayStation 4, having a tier where you just have the most recent titles across those 2 platforms probably makes the most sense, because it's what you have in your house, it's what you know, yada yada. You don't give 2 knots about the old stuff, and then jerk-offs like me who are like, yo, can I play SOCOM online again, would pay that extra $3 to get that access. Or, you know, oh my god, I could play the old Medal of Honor and realize that the first-person shooter controls from the late 90s are actually awful. So, honestly, it's kind of genius on their part. You know, good on. It's not good, but it is good. Like, in terms of value for the consumer, not good. But in terms of like eking a couple extra bucks out of nostalgic assholes like me, fucking making money moves over here. The other big problem that I see with the PlayStation Plus game streaming service is the fact that it's only on PS4 and PS5.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
why is that a problem?
Well, I probably, you know, me, the game streaming person, I mean, I might be able to be convinced to test it out on a PS4 if those streaming titles for the PS1, PS2, PSP are available on the PS4. But honestly, like, most of my gaming is done right here on this PC. I have Game Pass specifically for the PC. I am playing, you know, I will probably never own an Xbox again ever in my life, especially with the day one releases coming to Xbox and PC on the same day and coming to Game Pass. So some of that attachment, I think, is gonna, you are hyper focused to people who own your consoles currently. I don't think that this is the same kind of thing that is gonna make people buy a console or bring people into the ecosystem that might not already be there.
It looks like on the PlayStation Plus Premium, you can stream to PC. Where PlayStation Now.
Oh, yeah, I see that. You know what? PS4, PS5, consoles, and PC. Okay.
Right,
Interesting.
Gosh, they answered you. They just said you have to pay that little bit extra.
God.
They got you. They got you good. He's all. Yep. The hook's been baited. The card is out of the wallet. The information's getting entered.
Because, you know, I mean, like, if I'm getting, because
Here, Sony.
oh, you know, I just figured out how I got me. You know, I just figured. So you know how oh, hey, here's some other news. So Bungie got bought by Sony in the arms race of studio snatching. The makers of my beloved Destiny, no longer independent, but also kind of independent still, because they still kind of control the whole Destiny. It's a weird kind of relationship.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I like Destiny, but if I never had to buy a Destiny expansion again and I could just sign up for PlayStation Plus to get.
Because
content.
this is the thing. Because
But I
like
have it on Steam.
the way
I have it on Steam, so that probably wouldn't work. So
this is a uniquely evil situation for me because I play Destiny on my PS5 sometimes, just because it's pretty and nice, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to go all the way back to the computer room. I'm lazy. I just want to check something, and I'll do like a strike, and I'm done. But I don't have any of the expansions on the PlayStation because I don't want to buy them twice. So like I can't equip stasis on PlayStation, but I can on my computer, which is dumb. But I can still do like the seasonal stuff because that's sold like through Bungie for some reason. That's like the PC and the PlayStation know that I have the season pass, but they don't communicate that I have the expansions. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It's very confusing. It's like I understand the distinction there, but it's weird for sure. But if with Sony being now with Bungie being a Sony studio now, if I get my if I upgrade to the PlayStation Plus extra, does that mean I'm getting the back catalog of expansions on my PlayStation just for the cost of like my subscription? And am I getting day and date expansions in the future? Because that's how they get you though.
Yeah.
Dang. Shoot.
What bothers me, and I know that Josh brought up like, hey, in the age of Fortnite, this won't matter to a lot of people. This matters to me is that it is just streaming of the games. It's not a download of the games.
Like kind of seems like the real jump here is the plus extra. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Like
I would imagine that the PS1, PS2, PSP streaming is that they don't want to deal with putting an emulator on the actual hardware, so it's easier for them to emulate it server side and serve it to you than it is for them to potentially emulate it on hardware and have you download it and deal with files and potentially crack it and steal the ROM and blah 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 blah.
Okay, never mind. It says only the PS3 ones are available via cloud streaming, but the PlayStation 1, PS2, and PSP games are available for both streaming and download. Okay, maybe that's not that bad. It's weird they don't have PlayStation 3 emulation going on, but
that the cell engine of the PlayStation 3 is so bloody hard to emulate. They probably don't want to deal with the compute overhead.
You say that, but you can go get a PS3 emulator onto your PC if you know the correct places to look.
I mean, you can, but I would imagine that it's a lot of work and a lot of upkeep, and on a beefy PC, it's probably not a big deal, but especially on a PS4, which was already kind of obsolete when it came out.
No, you can't be doing old reliable like that now. Bloodborne machine
might be a little more intensive on that console than you might think. So they probably are just like, we're just gonna do this all server side where we have the actual horsepower and we'll send it out.
I want to see the list of titles because I've been wanting to play some.
That's the other thing we gotta see.
Yeah, I gotta see what the titles are.
What if it's just 500 copies of Croc?
It's just Mag.
It's just Mag. We here at Sony have went ahead and have gone above and beyond, and we have partnered with FromSoft to bring an exclusive classic back. We're like, well, what do we got? Do we got all the Armor Cores on here? Cookies and Cream. It's just the Adventures of Cookies and Cream. Did you guys know FromSoft made the Adventures of Cookies and Cream, a PlayStation PS2? It's one of their launch titles. You play two bunnies, and your names are Cookies and Cream, and you go on a little puzzle-based adventure. They're awful. It's an awful video game. It's one of the worst games FromSoft has ever made. That being said, I wouldn't doubt that's one of the titles on there. They'll have like that, Bantavision, the Bad SOCOM. Josh, you know which one I'm talking about. Yeah, one of them
What if SOCOM was Call of Duty and then sent Zipper Interactive into the fucking grave?
They will have mag, which will miss the point if they actually put mag as a streaming service on there, because no one will play it and then it'll die again. I don't want to watch mag die twice.
That'd be great.
No, it'll be awful. Hey, they might get Metal Gear Solid. What was the one that was a PS3 exclusive? Part 4. They might finally get Guns of the Patriots back out because they've never re-released it in any other format. Isn't that... Hold on. Sidebar. I know this is off topic. That's weird, isn't it? Isn't it weird that right now, to this day, the only way you can play Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots is with a PS3 and there's no other option? I don't know. I've always found that just incredibly odd that they've never re-released that game. Anyways, this looks fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not hateful. If you're already subscribed to the essential version, if you already are paying yearly for it, which means nothing changed, for an extra couple bucks, you might get 400 pretty decent PS4 and PS5 games. I don't know what those titles could be, but they could be really solid. And for even a little bit more money,
it will depend on some of the particulars. It's definitely, on the face, a pretty decent value of like, hey, you get a pretty extensive library for not that much more. For, what people are already paying $10 for, like a couple bucks more to get an even more extensive library. Not that bad. That will definitely work amongst a certain set of the audience. It's just some of those questions of like, what is streaming, what is downloaded, what is going to be available, when is it a day and date thing, whatnot. So there's a lot of questions, and we'll just have to wait and see. And
I actually don't like the this is a lot more expensive than what Xbox Game Pass offers, and you're getting a lot less features than what Xbox Game Pass offers. Like, the beta version of Xbox Game Pass streaming to your phone works. Like, people have tried it, and apparently it works as well as you think it would. It's okay, but it's there. And it's for, what is that, if I'm not mistaken, Josh? $15 a month?
$15. I think 15 is the
mid tier.
Yeah, that there's like one tier higher with some extra stuff on top of it, but like 15 is like the main bread and butter with the Xbox cloud streaming and whatnot. So,
and they got all Xbox, as many Xbox 360 games as they could possibly get, like the full back catalog, and Xbox One and Series X games. For, in this case, for the most expensive price that Sony is currently offering, what is that, $3 less per month?
Yep.
I don't know. Game Pass is still looking like an okay deal.
Though I will say, I might need to go in and do some digging. I don't know that I can pay for Game Pass outright for a full year for that extra discount. So, if you're willing to shell out a bigger lump sum, you can kind of have that slight savings for yourself there. So, that also factors into the pricing as well.
I will have to say, Sony's just pay us $120 up front, you get the best thing, and that equates to $10 a month. That's pretty all right. That's not bad.
Man, I'm toast if they got those Destiny expansions in there. They're like, oh, I know how we're getting Mike. I'm about to know what it's like to play Stasis on a controller, folks.
Arnish acquired. Take him out. Okay.
Goodness gracious. Well, I'm gonna save y'all the trouble of a full tech minute bumper. We're running a little long. Just to note, on day of filming, the 3090 Ti released for $2,000 to $2,200, and
what?
It's too fucking expensive. It's
nice.
Not that good. The main thing that they did was they gave you a new cord that is 3 8-pin connectors into one 12-pin connector, because the card takes something like 500 watts plus.
The
Which
card
is-
alone takes 500. That's
Yeah.
funny.
It's
Christ.
ridiculous. And it's like the MSRP of a 3090 I think is $1,500. So this is $500 to $700 more for about a 4 to 5% increase in performance. So great job. But
The NVIDIA hate from Josh comes out in full
you gotta
force,
love it. But hey, GPU prices are coming down. I saw something today that Asus is actually planning to slash up to 25% off MSRP on all of their cards on April 1st. So, you know,
Hey,
wait a minute.
fuck off.
nature is healing. I also believe that Wednesday the 30th, so probably when this goes up and you're hearing about it, Intel is going to be finally releasing and giving some information on their discrete Intel Xe graphics cards. So, you know, we will have more...
nice try, Josh. Everyone knows that you can't do discounts on Fridays. That's crazy.
That's also true.
It's true.
It's technically a Tuesday.
So yeah. But yeah, so it's out, it's too expensive, but other cards are getting less expensive, so don't buy a 3090 Ti unless you are a billionaire and have more money than sense and want to dab on some fools 4% faster than everybody else.
There are people that will absolutely do this though. That's why NVIDIA does it. They did the math. They're like, nope, there's just enough people that are like, it gives you a 2% increase. They will drop $3,000 for it.
Yeah. You know what people should do though instead of buying a 3090 Ti?
What?
Subscribe to Unscripted Gaming.
Oh, damn right.
You can find us at unscriptedgaming.com. We have access and links to everything we do across the internet, all of our other shows. You can find us on Twitter at unscript_gaming, Facebook Unscript Game Podcast. We are on all the sound platforms, soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming. We are on Google, Apple, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, everywhere you can get us into your ears and eyes. Thank you for watching Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
My name is Mike.
Peace.
I forgot to talk out.